money, honey. Get the money, honey. Get the money, honey. Get the money, honey. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Yes, a round of applause. Yes, I am wearing my glasses today because I have something to share with you, and I need my spectacles to magnify what I need to see. Unfortunately, I just had my eyes checked, and my vision has just been going a little bit wonky. But I hope everybody is doing wonderful today. Today is Tuesday. This is a whole new day to start all over again, wipe the slate clean, and begin again. Just start all over again. You missed the mark yesterday. Today is the day to get it right, okay? So welcome to Christina L Turner, Kingmaker, Get the Money Honey webinars, where I help entrepreneurs build a strong foundation for their business. So I normally work with entrepreneurs between 3 months or 2 months into business, all the way up to 3 years. And I give consulting services to them. And then also not only consulting services for the business, but I also give consulting services for where the money is, which is why I started this YouTube channel. If you have not heard my YouTube channel, the Kingmaker, Christina L Turner Kingmaker, Get the Money Honey. We started off with having experts coming on, which I work with Nolan Davis, Adrienne Bell, who was here with me last year, and I brought Nolan back this year. And now what we're gonna do now, we change the trajectory of it, because I feel that sometimes, you know, I know what it's like to be an entrepreneur and then trying to start, even if you've been an entrepreneur before and you started a business before, sometimes it can get a little bit challenging when you start another business. So you need just a little bit of help, whatever. So I offer my services for free. For where you can come here and you can talk about your business, and then you can ask me whatever it is that you need within that hour, some basic things that you don't have to go researching. So before I give you tips, because I'm going to be the only one on the show today, on the web today, and I have some information that I would like to share. Not just funding information, some new stuff have came out that's available. Those of you who are looking for funding, I do have some new goodies for you, but I just want to read this quick story right quick. And if you just stay with me, it's like, if it's a 2-minute read, I'm going to be reading from the Book of Mysteries. It's by Jonathan Cahn. It's a very, very good book. It was on the New York Times bestseller list, over 300,000 copies that this book has made. So this one is called The Power to Cast a Forest, and it's day 188. I have so many books that I do read at one time, but this one today I think will be really great for entrepreneurs, business owners, and even if you're working in a profession already, I think this will be good for you as well. I took it as this is a great thing. So I'm going to start right quick. Let me put my glasses on. Let's see what we reading. Okay, so it says, it's called The Power to Cast a Forest. I had to walk a bit to see what he wanted to show me. It was a forest not far from the city, man-made and carefully tended. As we walked through the forest, he began to share. A question, said the teacher. Could you uproot the entire forest and then throw all the trees at once into the distance? Of course not, I replied. But what if you could? But it's impossible, I said. No, said the teacher, it is possible. But you need to learn the secret. It's all in a matter of timing. If you try to uproot this particular forest and threw it in the present conditions, it would, of course, be impossible. But if you try to throw it at an earlier stage, and then I said, what earlier stage? The seed stage. He said, if I gave you a bag of seeds which given root would not grow into this forest, and told you to throw the bag, you'll be able to do it. You would, in effect, be throwing an entire forest, the same forest, just at a different stage. But if you let the seeds become the forest, then you could never do it. It would take heavy earth-moving machines, countless days of hard labor to clear even the small portion of it. Or you could toss the bag of seeds. Thus, by doing so, you possess the equivalent power of all those earth-moving machines combined and more. You should be, in effect, stronger than Samson. It would be as if you were living with superpowers. Assuming I'm not going to move a forest, I said, how do I apply this secret, this power to my life? In every way, he said. The way to deal with sin, every temptation, every evil thought, anger, gossip, lust, worry, bitterness, anything that is not to deal with it after you've let it take root and grow to become a tree or a forest. The more you allow the seed to take root, the harder it becomes to remove it, and the more energy and time and effort it takes to get rid of it. But rather deal with these things when they are only seeds, the moment they rear their heads. Practice this secret and you'll save yourself countless heartaches, problems, and hours. And you'll live with the equivalent of superpowers, the power of one so strong that he can throw a forest. The mission today, practice dealing with every sin, temptation in its seed form and moment. Throw it out and be glad you just created a forest. So the reason why I read this and it meant something to me as being an entrepreneur, we just had our event this past weekend, and it was just a lot. It was a lot of moving parts, of course, when you're creating an event, and everyone had their prospective tasks and what they were supposed to do. And sometimes when you're trying to, when you're in business and you're trying to bring your staff together and you're trying to put all the moving parts together, and if you don't make recognition of anything that is off, it becomes a bigger issue. So as entrepreneurs or business owners, whichever way that you identify yourself, even if you're working at home and you're working from home, or you're in management or anything in your life, make sure that to address certain things, because even one seed, that saying to pick and choose your battles. It all depends on the battle, because sometimes if you feel that it's insignificant at that moment and you ignore it, it actually can become a big tree. And as the topic was saying, that how to throw a forest is that it takes more effort to uproot a big tree than it would be to discard a seed, right? So anyway, that was my little meditation for today. So I just want you to understand that, all power is within you and your business. You create what you want to happen within your business. You create that. If you have a problem, don't wait too late to try to get help. Don't wait until the final hour to try to get help for finances, for getting an assistant, for whatever it is, because then what ends up happening, you have a bigger problem than what you started with. One of the things that I try to do is try to be proactive when situations arise, so that I won't be found wanting. So I won't be found, needing more than what I needed before. So, and I'm just going to give this one other story. I was actually having some issues with my, that's not what I wanted to do. I was actually having some issues with my getting an assistant. And I knew that, if I did not get an assistant, I was already feeling overwhelmed. I was already feeling displaced. I was already feeling like, oh my God, I was just, everything would just come in at once, and I needed assistance. So I literally sat on my sofa a few weeks ago, and I was just like, God, I need help. I have too many moving parts. I have so many things that are going. I need help. I need someone to help me. And I kid you not, within 7 minutes of just me just saying, God, I need help, I ended up getting a phone call from a young lady. And she was like, do you need help? It was like, I was like, oh my God, that was so scary. And she is now my assistant. And she has been doing a phenomenal job on everything that I need for her to do as an assistant, and then some. So before it got too bad, and I can tell you, without my assistant, without I had my godson Paris to fly in, without him and without my assistant, it would have just been a crazy madhouse. It was crazy, but it wasn't as crazy as it could have been without their help. So I just want to thank Paris and Abigail immensely from the bottom of my heart for helping with that. So let's get the money, honey. Okay, so let me tell you. Okay, so I have some goodies here. I'm looking at my notes now. And what I want you to know, that there has been there are some new upcoming grants that I really want you guys to really pay attention to. Again, I'm gonna have to get a moderator so they can put the links up in when I do it. So if not, I'll put the links on where to find these grants after I finish the broadcast. But Comcast has a grant called Comcast Rise. And what they do is they pick certain entrepreneurs to grant them the money. And what you need to do first, one of the things, how do you qualify for? I think Comcast and Xfinity has partnered up together. I think they're in a marriage, like, you know, American and US Airways, but now it's just all American. Comcast and Xfinity is now Xfinity. But what you need to do is how you qualify for it. You want to go on Comcast, it's ComcastRise.com/apply/. Okay, so you want to go on there and see if Comcast is in your area. If Comcast service is in your area, you can apply. You don't have to have any purchase. You don't have to be a Comcast member. What I mean member is that you're not paying a monthly cable bill or internet bill with Comcast to qualify for their grant. So that's grant number one. Then there is, this grant is still open. They reopened it again last week, Tuesday, to those that were trying to apply for this particular grant, which is called the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. Now, this grant is really kind of tricky a little bit because what they do is, it is not so much if you just have a venue that you qualify for this grant, but even if you're a promoter. I know a couple of promoters that promote events. I'm not going to mention their names, but I know a couple of promoters that promote events that a lot of them lost money during COVID, and even now trying to promote events, because a lot of the events get the recognition because of the promoters. They also qualify for this event. So let's say, for instance, like if you're a promoter and you promote jazz festivals or concerts or anything like that, you actually qualify for the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. And what they're gonna need from you is, they're gonna need like the invoice or the venue that you were going to be having this particular, these particular events at. Even if you had them on your calendar, let's say you had them on your calendar and the event was postponed or it was canceled, and you had it on your calendar. Let's say that your client had made a deposit and then you end up returning the deposit or even holding deposit to the next event, you qualify for the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. So it's not just conducive to just museums and galleries and venues that have events. I can give you a good example. I read that this one gentleman, he has a photography. Now listen, those of you that's in photography, he has a photography and he supply event like lighting, all the staging. He supplies all of that. So he has photography, staging, lighting, and all that stuff. He applied for the grant and he got the money for that because he supplies a service to the venue. So even if you supply a service to the venue, to a particular venue or venues, you will qualify for the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. Now the application on that, and I'll go back to the Comcast application too, what it looks like, and it was really, really simple. It took me, I did it because I wanted to walk through it to see what it is. Going back to the Comcast, just right quick, that the Comcast Rise grant only took a few minutes. When I mean a very few minutes, it took me less than 5 minutes to fill it out. So it was really easy to navigate through. The Shuttered Venue Operators Grant is a little bit more tedious because they ask questions, they ask for you to provide a list of, you know, the venues and all of that that's related to whatever service that you are going to be providing as a event promoter, or as a or not just an event promoter, but also event provider of services like lighting, staging, and everything. It was just a little bit longer. But if you have your information, one of the things I would say is for you to go and go look in your emails and in your business files and all those clients that you had lined up. That's what you're going to put on your application. Okay. Again, here's another one called Lenovo Pro. Okay, Lenovo actually do software, not software, but laptops and other kinds of things. Now, they don't really have a grant. It's something like a little, I don't know if they're trying to do a contest. I really couldn't really understand really what they were doing, but what they look at as you're hashtagging, you'll use their hashtag called Evolve Small hashtag. And what they also have is, like, say, if you need a new laptop or something like that, they'll give you $100 off of their product. They'll send you a code. Well, it can range up to, I think it was 10 to 100. When I went and put my information in, they gave us $100 off of any product that we would be purchasing with them. Well, I just bought their Lenovo laptop anyway, which is what I'm using already. But the thing is, it's like a contest sort of kind of thing. So they want you to use their hashtag called Evolve Small on your favorite, like, say for instance, you're on Instagram, you have a favorite business, you have a favorite, whoever's your fave, makeup artist, it doesn't even matter. You could be a creator, you can be in technology, you can, whatever range of business that person is, you can do hashtag Evolve Small, okay? So I'll make sure that I'll put that there. And I think with so many hashtags to that particular business that have that Evolve Small on there, what ends up happening, they'll get awarded a grant, but they don't say how much the grant is. Okay, so I did not get that particular information. Okay, now I know many of you, especially specifically women, you know, we have a special, you know, I guess the government is really trying to focus on women being in business. And that's because there has been a disparity of women being in business from long ago. You know, if we look at our history, women weren't considered being business owners. We were considered hobbyists. Like, it was a hobby for us to knit blankets, even though we sold them in the markets. It was a hobby for us to do hair. You know, they did not look at us as true entrepreneurs back in the day. And I know that many of you saw the movie Self-Made with that talks about Madam C.J. Walker being an entrepreneur in that time. And, you know, if you really pay attention to all the inroads, all the hardships on being an entrepreneur and getting your brand, and then the competition as well, being a woman in business. So I'm sure that it was extremely competitive because, of course, we're not the only one. Like, I'm not the only event planner. I'm not the only business consultant. I'm not the only this. I'm not the only that. There's other people that are doing the same thing, and maybe their presentation is better than my presentation. It doesn't, you know, it matters, but it doesn't matter in the aspect of what is it that you're trying to project to the world. So Amber grants are specifically designed for women. That's it. It's no underlining type of thing. And I don't hate, but I don't like it when there are certain things that are designated for a certain group of people. We kind of get a little itchy kitchy yaya da mama about having certain things for a certain group of people. So the Amber grant is specifically for women. So if you go to Amber Grants with the S for women.com and /all-grants, what it's going to have on that particular page, and again, I'll put it underneath, it's going to have several different categories of services or businesses that you may be involved with. Okay, so if you are involved in, let's say you are an MUA hairstylist, there is a section of grants for you, and you just highlight it. And it's real cute because they have them all in pink. It's really feminine, very feminine looking website. If you do technology and you're creating apps, because women do create apps, we know that. So that if you're creating apps, any type of technology, if you're in any type of, let's say, hair, if you're an event, if you're creative, like you're creating different items, like say if you're doing t-shirts, skincare, whatever, you're creative, there's a section for you. So you're going to go on that link and you're going to scroll down, and you're going to see also the dates when that particular grant ends and when it starts. And I think one of the grants ended in December. I mean, not December. One of the grants that I would have been interested in ended in June. And they have another one for creatives because I am a creative as well. And it will, I think when I looked at it, September. Okay, so you want to check that out. Okay. And here's another one called Seek Government Funds. Now, the only thing that I don't like with some of these links, they cause you to pay like a small administrative fee, like $15 or $25, nothing like really big. But it may be, especially if you're looking for government grants, and I hope that you had the opportunity to get your SAM number. And if you want to know anything about that, I could do another video about that, but that is on my YouTube channel, Christina L Turner Kingmaker, where I talk about the SAM's number. And I think last time that we spoke, that I said anything about the SAM's number, it said how they changed their system. So a lot of people had to go back and upload all their information because now the dynamics are a little bit different in regard to the system. So you want to be able to make sure that you have your SAM number, your DUNS number, and of course your EIN number. I think it would be very beneficial to you for Seek government funds. I think this, if I remember correctly, and I didn't jot the note down, that the Seek government funds is a paid site. Okay, so you see, and they'll keep sending you information about the next upcoming grants, what's coming in, and the date that you can apply and when that date expires. And this is also good for nonprofits. So it's not just only for profits, it's also for nonprofits, and also too, Amber Grants for Women, they also have grants for nonprofits. So you want to tap into that. So for the Seek Government Funds, you're going to go to seekgovernmentfunds.com/apply-now, NOW. So I'm going to put that up underneath there as well. And here's another one. Now, this one is kind of fun a little bit. It's a little fun. It's called challenge.gov. And I'm not sure if any of you heard of challenge.gov before. With challenge.gov is, how can I put it? Where you create a challenge, or they have a challenge, and you and other people will participate in this particular challenge. And then you can be funded for that challenge the way that it is. So I would say check that out. I'm not a challenge. I don't play games. So if you like games and things like that, you could create a challenge and all that stuff. If you like doing stuff like that, that may be something that you want to get into. I'm not a game kind of person. So, you know, I don't, it don't register that well for me. Okay, so, and then what else do I have? I have, when you go to challenge.gov, you can select what type of game you're gonna create, what kind of challenge you're gonna create, because they have technology. It's a plethora of different types of challenges that you can create and that you can get funded for. You can get awarded for that. Okay, and now for my other one is the Economic Development Administration, which is called, and I'm not sure if you heard of it, called the EDA government. And this is really, really good. Now, let me tell you how I love the Economic Development Administration. There's people, and I'm going to specifically talk to different churches. If you start a church, or you want to start a church or a nonprofit, any type of nonprofit, that particular grant is going to really be beneficial, because it's talking about economic development in the community. Okay, so let's say, for instance, like, how can I put this? When I worked for, I created some nonprofits earlier this year, and at the end of last year, I created like probably about 10 nonprofits between June of last year and March of this year. I haven't done any more nonprofits where, when you have a nonprofit, you're creating programs. One of the things that if you want to get funded as a nonprofit entity, you need to have something that they can fund. So if you are into economic development, let's say, for instance, you're going to put in any type of training programs or self-sufficiency, let me just say that, self-sufficiency programs, so that you can help people, you can teach them how to fish, not just give them a fish, but you teach them how to fish, how to be more self-sufficient. You educate them. So you have all these different programs that come in there. Like, you could have like computer, you can have how to SEOing, because we know that that's really, really huge now. You can get people to SEO your website. You can get people who are really, really good in any type of technology, or because that seems to be like the biggest thing right now. People, United States, we need more tech people who like technology, and more science people. So if you have a nonprofit and you create these programs to put into your nonprofit, this particular program that I just mentioned would be really beneficial to you, because you're bringing in programs into the community. You're helping the community to build, you're trying to provide resources. So the Economic Development Administration is where you want to look for grants. I'm all about economic development, especially in urban communities, and specifically in some of our rural communities as well, because they kind of get a little slighted a little bit. And to get slighted a little bit, there's so much money out there. There's tons and tons of money. You just need to know which well to go and put your cup in. I don't recommend, I like looking at finding unusual places where you can find money that people have never thought of before. And because it's so competitive, especially now that we have COVID, everybody has gotten downloads on being their own entrepreneur, their own nonprofit, starting their own entities. And so it's very competitive. So you want to have a great story about your nonprofit, what you're trying to do into the community. I had met a young man and I had never even thought of anything like that. And I know that he's not the only one in the US, but he literally created a nonprofit for teens that have committed suicide or trying to do suicide preventive projects or programs for teens who are suicidal. And I thought that was really interesting because I had never even heard about that before. So I'm not going to be on long. I hope the little story that I read to you was beneficial to you. And next week, I will have a guest next week. So I just wanted to spend some time with you to myself this week and to give you a recap on what has transpired this week. And if you have any questions, let me see, because I'm trying not to be on here live because I get like a feedback. If anyone have any questions or anything like that, you can let me know. You can either DM me or you can put the questions right underneath the link. So that's all I have for today. And I wish you blessings and peace and prosperity for this week. I pray that whatever you put your hands to, that it will prosper. I pray that you will prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prosper. And I will see you guys next Tuesday. Have a great week. This is Christina Kingmaker. And please subscribe to my channel too. And you can also share this video. God bless.